welcome back to Soul Sessions. I have been waiting to do a video like this, and it's finally time, so I am so excited as always to share this part of me with you guys. Before we get into the video, I welcome you into the Soul Session family, into our abundant circle of love and truth and growth. So as you can see, I am in nature today. So for anybody that is new to my channel, you'll find a lot of videos I do in nature. I do receive a lot more messages and I become more clear-headed here. So this is my therapy session as well. This is where I find most comfort, is being with the elements and grounding myself and just going back to basics. So I think this is very fitting. I needed to be in nature to do this video. I didn't want to be in a closed-in place. I needed the elements to remind me constantly who I am, where I've come from, and who I'm becoming. So I am so excited. This video is for anybody that really needs healing from their past and their present, things that you may have not overcome yet, things that you are still dealing with. It is a reminder that we all are dealing with our own troubles in life, and you're not alone. And I want to say that from the very beginning, you are not alone in what you're going through. I just want to clarify something. My channel is all about healing one another, healing together, loving on one another, uplifting one another. So it's a community of that strength that we all have when we unite together. And I just want to say for the record, I never want to be known as your healer. I am not I'm not the one to heal you. You cannot come to me and be healed. But I hope that I help you tap into something so that you know the power you have to heal yourself. I'm not your healer. We are healing one another. By being transparent, by being truthful, by being honest with ourselves first. From the very beginning of my life, I was a happy child, and I just knew things. I was a very happy child, very insightful, very optimistic, just overall understanding of a lot of things. I was raised by my mother, who was a single mother raising 3 daughters. I am the youngest of 2 older sisters. And ever since I can remember, my mother and father were divorced. So growing up, I always had to split holidays, weekends between, going to visit my dad. And as I was young, it was a constant, continuous, every other weekend I would go see my dad. Growing up, I had this amazing connection with my father. The most amazing connection you could ever want with a father. He was my best friend. He was the person that understood me without me having to say anything. He was the person I could turn to when life was getting rough growing up in my household. So he was my best friend. I literally could talk to him about anything. He never judged me. He never pressured me into telling him anything. And there was a lot of times where he knew things without me saying anything, and he could relate to me. I could relate to him. We were just kindred spirits, and I'm so thankful to have had that figure, that kind of father, that individual in my lifetime. I'm so thankful and forever grateful, and I still have him in my life. If you guys don't know already, my dad has passed from cancer in 2014. I did make a video in depth on that and how I still connect with my father, talking to you more in depth about his passing, what he meant to me. So make sure you check that video out. So long story short, that was the dynamic of my upbringing. I want to say around the age 13, I was exposed to a lot of things. I just vividly remember the age 13. That's when I was exposed to a whole new world. I'm not going to go too in depth about the world that I was exposed to, but let's just say it wasn't, it wasn't the safest. It wasn't the most inspiring, insightful, but it did teach me a lot of things. So I was exposed to a lot that made me street smart. This is something I've never, ever imagined I would reveal, because I didn't feel like it was necessary to share this part of my life with you guys. But I'm going to share it for the sake of other people dealing with this same thing. At age 13, I was molested by a 25-year-old man who's going to remain nameless. The situation, I want to remain kind of blocked off. I just want to let you guys know it was at age 13 I was first molested, and I thought it was okay. But as far as like me feeling like, bad about myself for it, I'm no longer dealing with that. I no longer feel like I made a mistake and it was my issue and I was bad and stuff like that. Like for a long time after, I really had psychological issues dealing with that. He was the first person to mess with me sexually. Well, of course, molesting, but sexually, I never did anything. Like, he basically exposed me to a whole new life that maybe if I was in my right mind, I would have said, no, this is not right, but I wasn't. And so anyway, fast forward to, after all of it happening, and I'm older, I was 13 years old, it was years after, I had never told my dad any of this. And a lot of the times my dad and I would have heart-to-heart conversations. We would talk about everything and anything. And I told my dad about the situation. He knew this person, he knew the dynamic. And when I finally exposed the truth to him, he was the first person to ever say to me, like, the whole time I was telling my dad and opening up to him about everything, he never once cut me off. He never stated his opinion or put his 2 cents in. He just let me let it all out. And I never ever thought this until he said this to me, and he said, honey, that wasn't your fault, right? When he said that, I was like, Dad, it was. What do you mean? I knew what was going on and I was okay with it. He said, that was not your fault. My dad was the one to tell me, you had no clue what was going on, and this grown man took advantage of you. And I didn't see it that way until my dad said that. I literally was beating myself up about it. So in situations that you're going through, it's very important that you have somebody to talk to. You have people out there that want to be there for you and support you and love you and show you that love, but sometimes we get in our own heads and feel like nobody will understand, or nobody's gonna, be able to sympathize or relate to what I'm going through. There is somebody there, and if they can't genuinely relate to what you're going through, they can be there for you. You need people in your corner that truly support you. And the time you'll realize who's really in your corner is when you're going not only through your good times, but your bad times, they're there for you just as much as you're there for them. Because one thing I know for sure, people that have genuinely been hurt a lot in their life, they tend to be the most loving. Most cases, some people can be so traumatized by situations that allows them to be colder as a person, therefore not opening up to anybody, not being there, always on guard, always suspicious, always these thoughts in their mind of negativity that surrounds every situation, making it a negative rather than focusing on the positive, right? So that situation happened in my life. That to me was the biggest thing personally that happened to me, not things that happened, because there's so many things growing up as a little girl that I saw my mom go through, that I saw my sisters go through, that really taught me what I don't want to be doing, you know, but I saw a lot of shit. And so that was the biggest situation that happened to me that stood out. 13 years old, that happened. Fast forward, I get into my first relationship and I'm 17 years old. 17 years old, I get into a relationship with this beautiful, beautiful man who I'm now married to. But at 17 years old, that was my first real relationship. And I didn't know what love was. I didn't know that I could love or feel the things I do with another person than I did with him. But being exposed at 13 to the street life, being pushed into that lifestyle, being surrounded by drug addicts, involved in that kind of life. I started drinking at the age of 13, and I think that's what started my alcoholic nature. Having a problem with alcohol, I'm pretty sure it started there. So fast forward, I'm in my first relationship. Him and I have lots of ups and downs. Him and I are learning a real relationship for the first time at 17 years old. Not really knowing boundaries, not really knowing, you know, we're just realizing what we do and don't want in a relationship. So him and I went through a lot in our relationship, broke up one good time for like 2 years. I never thought I would end up with him again. I never thought we'd be back together. I was so traumatized. I was so hurt. And when we officially broke up for the first time, I believe it was in July, I went on a downward spiral in my life. I went into a world of partying nonstop, drinking, not just on the weekends, literally through the weekday. I'd want to get drunk, hanging around people that weren't really doing much with their lives. I wasn't doing much with my life, therefore there was nothing going on in my life. And I really thought that's what life was about. I really thought life was that. I had no clue who I was or what I was doing. I started messing around with drugs. Like I took different pills, and drinking was a big issue, and I didn't realize it was an issue. So I was really just in a bad place in my life, in a dark place, because I would have constant nightmares. I would wake up hysterically crying. I would wake up out of my sleep in fear, my heart racing, and I just would wake up with the worst nightmares. And I didn't know why that was going on. I know now why, because of what I was doing to myself, but I had no clue why I was going through the things I was going through. I really don't want to make this video super long, but I just want to mention that I was in a really dark place for a lot of my life, and I didn't know that until I got out of it. I want to mention another big event that happened in my life it was very big, was I tried to commit suicide. I don't remember the age I was, I'll be honest. A lot of that period of my life was a big blur. I just remember I was not in the best place mentally, physically, spiritually. I didn't even know myself. I didn't know who I was. I really didn't know shit. So I tried to commit suicide. Obviously I tried because I'm still here and there's a bigger purpose for me. I'm so thankful that it didn't actually happen. But you guys, just to briefly go over the story, there's a lot of things that had been going on and were still going on in the household I was raised in. So at the time I was still living with my mom and my sisters, and I was very depressed. And it's something that happened in the house, like an argument happened, like always, with sisters and my mom, and there was just a lot of tension and negativity and toxicity in the household. And I don't think as a consensus, we all of us women, I don't think we realized that it was a very toxic lifestyle and we didn't know how to break the cycle. With that being said, something happened and it triggered me to say, I am so fucking over this life. I was done. That day, I did not want to live another hour. So what did I do? I literally planned this out. I took a shower because I had mentally known that I was going to die, and I just, at least when they find my body, I wanted to be presentable. I was that fucking crazy. Yeah, I was that crazy. Obviously, I'm still trying to make sure I look good when they find me dead. I don't know. So I took a shower. I just prepared mentally myself to be gone. And what did I do? I went into my mother's room, and she constantly took sleeping pills to always be able to go to sleep. She had to have her sleeping pills. So I knew she had those. I knew those were fully in stock. So I went into her bedroom and I got the bottle. And I honestly forgot how many I took. I forgot. I want to say it was the whole bottle. I honestly can't remember vividly. I just know that I took enough that if my sister didn't come in the room to check on me, I would have been dead. I'm so grateful to be alive, you guys. I don't know where you're at right now in life, but like, nothing is worth you taking your own life. Nothing is worth it. You have to be in such a dark place in life that you don't even know what the fuck is reality or who you are to know yourself, to love yourself. Like, I didn't love myself. I didn't know what love was, honestly. I knew what love was because honestly my dad showed me true love, compassion. He treated me like a princess, right? But I was in a really dark place, and living where I was mentally, physically, and spiritually, it attacked my self-worth. I didn't know anything, so I don't know how long it took. I just know I was in and out, and I remember my sister like trying to lift me up out of my bed, and she's like, oh my God, and then next thing I know, I'm in the hospital. So to my sister watching this, if you do end up watching this, I want to say I love you and thank you for that. honestly, if it wasn't, I don't think I'd still be here if it wasn't for you. So to my sister Caitlin, I love you and I thank you for being there for me, especially during that time. Because even after I was in the hospital, she checked up on me. She was there for me. When I got home from the hospital, she was there for me. So yeah, I don't think I'd still be here if it wasn't for her in that moment. That was my one and only time of trying to kill myself. And I'll be honest, there were times after that I didn't mentally or physically want to be here anymore, because there's things in life that get you down. But I never attempted suicide again. So that depression was still there. And just a message to those that are going through it. You have purpose here. You have purpose here. You may not know what your purpose is, but that's okay. You don't have to know. You just have to keep discovering more about yourself and align yourself with the right people in the right environments and things that make you happy. I'm telling you, when I was going through that, I wasn't around the right people that wanted my best interest, because I don't think they wanted the best for themselves. You know, it wasn't, oh, I'm putting everything on them. That's not the case. I just didn't really know better, so I didn't do better. I wasn't doing the right things. I wasn't putting myself in the right environments. I didn't know what was best for me. I didn't have control over my life. So for anybody out there that is really depressed or has ever committed suicide or tried to commit suicide, I want you to know that you have full control over your reality. You have full control over your happiness. Why do you think I make so many videos about uplifting yourself, getting to know yourself, making yourself happy, doing what you need to do? Because I never knew how to do that. I never knew what happiness was. I never knew how to truly love myself. Okay? I love you. And I want you to start today. Whatever it is that makes you happy, go towards that only. I just wanted to touch on when I went through that situation of my suicide attempt. The only person or people that visited me was my stepmom and my dad. And my sister. I had a lot of people, to be honest, the people that heard about it, I had them call me. And at the time, I wasn't in a relationship with my husband now. We were broken up still at the time. And he called me. So, baby, I wanted you to know that at that moment it meant a lot to me that you called me. That was the most important call that I had from, somebody that wasn't a family member. He called me just to say, he heard what was going on and he wanted to know, he wanted to make sure I'm okay. So again, people that are really in your corner will show themselves and reveal themselves to you. So shout out to you, my king, for always being there for me in times that you didn't have to. And I didn't want you to be. I didn't think so. It always meant a lot to me. And so, yeah, this is my husband to this day. So, yeah, it goes to show you a lot of shit that you go through, especially with love sometimes. Sometimes you need breakups to regroup and grow, to come together stronger, because you're not meant to be at your full capacity together. You have to find yourself and love yourself first in order to build together. So, I'm just letting anybody know really quick out there, if you are in a relationship now and you're going through some tough times, or you have broken up with somebody that you thought you'd be with forever, just let the process happen as it should and use any time to focus on yourself, because that's the best that you can do in order to be the best you can in a relationship. All right. So the next biggest thing that before I move into that, the point I wanted to touch on was You may be shocked at what people are there for you or not. And at the time, I really wish that my mom was there for me, and she couldn't be. I don't think she could be. I'm stating to you guys out there that when people hurt you or they're not there for you like you think they should be because you're there for them or whatever the case is, you have to understand people are really dealing with their own shit mentally too. People are battling their own demons inside, and of course it's going to hurt you, but you can't take it personal. At the time, I took it personal. At the time, I wondered why my mom wasn't there. When I got home from the hospital, she didn't sit me down and comfort me. She wasn't there, and I honestly don't think she knew how to be. So living in a household with my mom, who I still love to this day dearly, she was not there for me at the toughest times that I went through. So anybody out there going through that, just know that at the end of the day, you have you to truly love yourself. I'm telling you, man, it makes a difference, because if you haven't learned how to love yourself yet, you're always going to be hurt by people who don't love you the right way. Be hurt by it, but get through that shit and understand that those aren't the people that need to be on your journey with you. So yeah, I went through a lot of depression during that time after too. And I'm just going to let you guys know I still deal with it off and on to this day. I still have moments where I don't know why I'm living, and it's not in the sense where I want to kill myself. It's more in the sense of like, I really don't know I know my gifts. I really think my purpose is to help those out there that are dealing with things too, because of the shit I went through. I just don't quite know exactly what it is yet. You know, the purpose I have here with all the gifts that I have, I don't know really where to start or what I should be doing. So I go through that on a daily, and I still battle with depression sometimes. I really do, you guys. I really just wonder, why am I here? What's the purpose? Like, I feel like I'm wasting space, you know? So I am still dealing with that, but it's something that I'm never gonna let take me down again. Something that I have to go through, and I have found many ways that really help me get through it. Okay, so again, stay tuned, that those kind of videos are here to come. They will soon come. The next biggest thing that happened in my life was in 2014. My dad got diagnosed and passed away with cancer. So he passed, and that, you guys, was the start of my spiritual journey. You have a lot of people asking, well, when did you fully awaken? When did you become spiritual or anything like that? Like, I kind of hate those questions, because I think I was always spiritual. I just wasn't fully tapped in, and I didn't know who I was. And sometimes you go through situations to get into a new life, to grow as a person, to become stronger. So what I'm saying to anybody out there is, whatever you're going through, whatever you have gone through, aren't you able to look back on it now and say, you know, I have a totally new perspective on life. This taught me something. This I'm able to now get through again because I went through that. This I'm able to help people with because I went through that. Take the situations that you're going through or that you've been through as a learning lesson, as building blocks. The person that you are today is because of what you've gone through in life. Whether you are in a bad place or a really good place in your life, it is because of most of the time the choices you make, and also your experiences here, you know, that you have to choose to make any negative situation or realize the power you have in turning a negative situation into a positive, for your benefit, for your understanding more, for your seeing things differently, for you knowing what's true to you, revealing truth. You know, there's a purpose in every single thing that happens in your life, and I'm telling you that because I never knew that. I just wanted to mention to you guys that you are the only person that is able to determine what's best for you or not. Like, people can tell you, left and right, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what's good for you, right? And it's not until you learn on your own that what they said was true and it sticks with you and it resonates to you. But you might have to go through certain situations in life to become the person that you're meant to be, okay? So understand what you're going through as a process in order for your evolution, in order for your greatness to happen. You have to build on that. You always have to build on that. You always have to recognize that you are greater than your circumstances. You have the power to create your own reality. What you see now, what you're going through now, is not real unless you think it is, and then you sink into that black hole of doubt, despair, depression, darkness. But where there's darkness, then comes light. I'm telling you, I had no clue that this person existed. This kind of life existed. All these videos that I've shared with you before that are about happiness and seeing life in a beautiful way, I never knew that it could be like this. And I'm so thankful that I'm still here because there's a bigger purpose for me. I'm always gonna go through life learning things. I'm still gonna go through bullshit, but everybody does, but it's also how I respond to it now. I've learned that that's the power that I hold, is how I respond to things is what will determine my outcome. Start today by going towards happiness and what makes you happy. Accepting that life will happen, but it doesn't have to take you down. You don't have to be a slave to your circumstances. Rise above that and know that there's a bigger purpose for you. A lot of the times people in this world that have gone through a lot of shit end up influencing this world in a huge way because they have so much love to give from what they've come from what they've learned from. They're here to inspire others to think better, to think greater, to become better for not only themselves but this world, to be that light for a lot of people's darkness in this world. So I know there's a bigger purpose for me and I'm still finding that, but I'm also tapping into my gifts and trying my best to share that with this world. So tribe, I really hope that this video will in the future and now be helpful to so many people. And I'm excited for these next videos. You guys stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, get notified when I upload a new video. Be the first to know when a new video is uploaded from me. Hit that bell icon and you'll get notified. And make sure you leave comments, share your stories, connect with me on Instagram. Everything will be linked in my description box. And stay tuned because there's more videos on how to deal with separate things. Anything that I've been through, I'm sharing how I've gotten through it and what ways work for me in order to heal and keep healing and getting through situations, okay? I love you so much, you guys. Thank you for watching today. I really love each and every one of you watching this. Just know I'm there with you in spirit and use my videos as a way to inspire you. I really hope that my channel is helping you along your journey. I love you. Take care.